Hi, I'm Anil Jacob. This is Universal Principles of Design. In this movie, figure ground, how to get two things for the price of one. At some point in your life, you have probably seen an image known as a Rubin Base. The idea behind a Rubin Base is that it demonstrates the way in which the brain makes sense of the world, or rather, tries to make sense of the world. The Rubin Base is what's known as a bistable image, meaning it creates two different stable perceptions, one of a vase and one of a pair of faces. But the perceptions can only exist one at a time. In other words, we can see a vase or the two faces, but not both at once. So your brain switches back and forth. Thus, the philosopher Ludwig called this switching back and forth between two interpretations of an image like this, a Gestalt switch. A great term that means a mental switch from seeing the world one way to another completely different way. The Gestalt switch that occurs with a Rubin Base is a result of what's called a figure ground effect, which means that the brain tries to separate the perceived world into two categories, a figure that is the object of focus and a ground which is the periphery or background. When images are stable, we perceive the figure and ground in one way. When the figure-ground relationships are bistable, we switch back and forth between the various images, struggling to find stability, as with the Rubin Base. It turns out that this way of perceiving the world has implications for design. Figure elements receive more attention and are better remembered than ground elements. When figures are clearly established in design, the design is more efficiently processed and recalled. For example, it turns out the element in a design that are below a horizon line, meaning a strong horizontal line or element, are more likely to be perceived as figures. The same is true for elements in the lower region of a design. This means that these elements will receive most of the attention and will better be remembered. So in a logo design with a strong horizontal element, placing the name of the company below the horizon line increases the probability that the company name will be read and remembered. Similarly, in letterhead design, placing the logo in the lower region of the page will get more attention and be better remembered than the same logo at the top. In both of these cases, the goal is to create stable figure-ground relationship, strategically placing elements to be perceived as figures, as focus, attention, and to aid recall. An interesting application of bistable figure-ground relationship is in logo design. Getting people to Gestalt switch between multiple images, as with the FedEx logo in this example. This not only grabs attention, it's fun for the brain. When the multiple images are relevant to the brand, Gestalt switching makes logo more memorable. But there are cases where you might want unstable relationship. Camouflage operates based on this principle. This is a camouflage scheme called dazzle camouflage, making figures emerge randomly in the noise and then disappear into the background prevents simple interpretations of boat-like orientation, making a difficult target for submarines. Unlike other forms of camouflage, the intention of dazzle is not to conceal but to make it difficult to estimate a target's range, speed, and heading. Norman explained in 1919 that he had intended dazzle primarily to mislead the enemy about a ship's course and so cause them to take up a poor firing position. So, whether you use your knowledge of the figure ground to make key elements more noticeable and memorable, exploit Gestalt switching in advertising and logos to engage and hold people's attention, or to design the next generation of camouflage, remember, when it comes to figure ground relationships, you really can get two things for the price of one.